How to Live a Good Life, Following New Testament Ethics. Written by Václav Rajlich. Read by Tooke. 1. Introduction. In the late 1970s, my youngest brother John lived in a modest house in a Prague suburb, with a small group of fellow former students who secretly joined the Dominican order. To be a Dominican was illegal in communist Czechoslovakia and carried a stiff jail sentence. A police raid could have occurred at any time. Visiting John one day, he introduced me to his friends. We sat down in their living room, drank coffee, and chatted about their studies and jobs. Then one of them asked, "Do you want to meet Pavel?" The question surprised me, but I said, "Sure." Through a narrow hallway, they led me to the back room where Pavel was lying in bed. He was less than 30 years old, about the same age as my brother. As I walked in, Pavel turned his head and smiled. John introduced me, and Pavel told me that he had heard of me and prayed for me and my loved ones. Not a single word was said about Pavel or his suffering. I thanked him for his prayers. As I was leaving the room, he waved. This small gesture required great effort. Back in the living room, I asked, "Who is Pavel?" And they told me that he was their friend, who had metastatic cancer, and that he was in constant, terrible pain. Even though his pain was so bad, he was sent home from the hospital and was waiting for either a miracle or death. Traveling home through the darkened streets of Prague in a streetcar, I was thinking about Pavel Legursky and how he radiated inner peace, undiminished by his life of pain, or fear of a possible police raid that could take away his caretakers. That sharply contrasted with my own restlessness and anxiety, in spite of my much more comfortable circumstances. I was wondering whether I would ever achieve that peace of mind. This book summarizes what I have learned since my brief encounter with Pavel. It begins with a short overview of the academic discipline of ethics. 1.1. Ethics. During our lives, we perform numerous human acts. Some are voluntary, others are involuntary. Every voluntary human act involves a deliberate choice and employs both human reason and will. In this book, the word act will mean voluntary human act. Ethics, or moral philosophy, is an academic discipline that studies voluntary acts and the choices that lead to them. It also answers the questions, what is the right act in these circumstances, and what is the best?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?